Hayyakum Allah, dear brothers and sisters, to this talk today on the virtues of Ramadan. Ramadan, that month which Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran in Surah Al-Baqarah, where Allah Ta'ala said, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. The month of Ramadan in which the Quran was revealed as guidance for people. This month, we all know that it has so special position before the Muslims, and this is because of the great worships in it. From these worships is the greatest worship Ramadan is ever known for, and that is fasting. Fasting, which was not a worship assigned for this ummah alone, but as Allah Ta'ala said in ayah 183 of Surah Al-Baqarah, يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. All you who believe, it was made obligatory upon you. It is made obligatory upon you as it was made obligatory upon those who were before you to fast, as if you do so, you will have taqwa. So fasting, although it is the main worship in Ramadan, however, it is not a worship that this ummah alone had, but all the nations before us, Allah Ta'ala made it obligatory upon them to fast. And this fasting, in general and especially in Ramadan, it is only made obligatory in Ramadan so that it purifies the heart. And from there we know that the virtue number one for Ramadan or of Ramadan is that it purifies the heart. And that's why Allah Ta'ala said after this ayat, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه. فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه. Whoever witnessed the moon or is present when the moon is witnessed, then let him to fast as obligatory worship. Ramadan was assigned obligatory to be fasted on the second year of Hijrah. Before that, Ramadan, people did not used to fast. When Rasulullah ﷺ migrated to Medina, he came and he found the Jews in Medina fasting the day of Ashura. And he asked them, what day is this that you fast? They said, this is the day in which Allah Ta'ala survived Musa and Bani Israel and killed Fir'aun and his soldiers. So Musa fasted it as a way of gratefulness and thankfulness to Allah. The Prophet ﷺ said, and then they said, and we fasted as a form of thanking Allah Ta'ala for that. The Prophet ﷺ said, we the Muslims have more right with Musa than you. Because Musa is Muslim, he's a prophet, and we are Muslims. So he immediately ﷺ sent someone to call the people in Medina, whoever is fasting today, meaning he did not eat anything, then let him to continue his fasting. Whoever has already eaten, then let him to hold of eating the rest of the day. But in the second year, that was the first year when he arrived. The second year of his settlement in Medina, he sallallahu alaihi wasallam received the revelation from Allah Ta'ala as this ayah, making Ramadan obligatory upon the Muslims. So the Bani Israel used to fast that day, only one day. Allah blessed us with one full month. Because they knew the virtue of fasting, so they fast. And Allah Ta'ala loved Muhammad and his ummah more than the others. So He gave them more than what He gave to all of the mankind. He gave them this month, the month of Ramadan. And when fasting was a form of thankfulness and gratefulness, it wasn't even to the Yahud a way of punishment. It wasn't a way of punishment. Even them, they knew that they were not punished by fasting so that they cannot eat or drink. La, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. And that's why this ummah was given the highest share of blessing. And that's why they are given 1 month of fasting. 1 month of fasting. And for that, we the Muslims wait for Ramadan with all emotional feelings. We all want Ramadan to come, and we all say, Ya Allah, permit me to be present at the arrival of Ramadan. Make me able to fast it and act righteously upon it or in it. Why? Because every one of us know that it is a way of blessing, it is not a punishment. This hunger we have in Ramadan, we love it. Rest of the year we cannot even stay half day without food. But when Ramadan comes, we love to fast. Because this hunger now is not for anything else, but it is for the sake of Allah. Look to those people who are sick of diabetes or whatsoever, and they are banned from eating, for example, certain food. I don't say from eating at all, but certain food. They find it difficult. They find it difficult. But for us, for the Muslims, we hold of eating the whole day, long or short. Yes, we might find some difficulty, but this difficulty we love. We like. We like it. There is hardship, but this hardship is liked. Yani now, if you are chased, yani pardon me for giving some examples because we need people to understand. If you are followed by a thief who's carrying a gun, you're going to run, isn't it? At the end, or when you reach your destination, police station or whatsoever, you keep breathing badly. And you say, what? I'm tired, I was running for long, huh? But when you run for exercise, you like it. It's the same thing, but you like it, huh? Because this is your hobby. Your hobby. But in the issue of fasting, it is more than hobby. It is more than hobby. It is religion and not any worship. This is the worship that brings you a lot, as we are going to see. First, in terms of health, even the medicine science today proved that fasting is very good for body. As first. But we are not concerned about that. We are not concerned about if it is good or not medically. Our concern is we obtain the command of Allah. Today they say the prayers are good for protecting from certain diseases. But we don't pray because of that. We pray because it is what Allah Ta'ala wants us to do. We don't come to the masjid 5 times a day just for exercising. La. Look to what Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran. الذين هم في صلاتهم خاشعون. Those who are very tranquil or have tranquility in their salah. In their salah. And this tranquility increases the iman in the heart. It increases the faith. Same thing with the fasting. Allah Ta'ala said, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. We don't fast just to build up our bodies. La. We fast to build up our taqwa, the piety in the heart. That is the reason why we fast. That is the reason why we fast. So from the virtues of Ramadan is that it is the month in which Quran was descended. It was descended as whole Quran, as you see it today, to the first layer of heavens. And from there, it was descended based on the incidents. As Ibn Abbas, Ibn Mas'ud and others said, the Quran was brought down to the first layer of heavens as you see it today, as one unit. And then from there it was revealed based on the incidents. The Quran, as Allah Ta'ala said in this ayah, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس. The Quran was sent down as a guide to the people. وبينات من الهدى والفرقان, and clarifications of guidance and disputation. The Quran called Al-Furqan means the disputer. It disputes between the truth and false. The Quran is the light. And the light we talk about is not light that the eye can catch, but it is the light that heart can catch. As Allah Ta'ala said, إِنَّا لَا تَعْمَى الْأَبْصَارِ وَلَكِنْ تَعْمَى الْقُلُوبُ الَّتِي فِي الصُّدُورِ. Indeed, it is not the eyes which go blind, but it is the hearts which go blind. The Quran is the remedy of all spiritual and physical problems and illnesses. As Allah Ta'ala said, وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ. And we descend from the Quran what is purification. والقرآن هو حبل الله المتين الذي من تمسك به نجا ومن تركه هلك. The Quran is the strongest robe of Allah. The robe that whoever holds on it, grasp on it, then he'd be saved. He'll be saved and protected. And whoever stay away from it, refrain away from it, would be destroyed. The Quran is the tranquility, as Allah Ta'ala said, لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا. And we have descended this Quran up on a mountain. This mountain, you're going to see this mountain very humble and in tranquility, very tranquil. Al-Quran is the greatest dhikr of Allah. The Quran is the greatest dhikr of Allah. And Allah Ta'ala said, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. Indeed, with the dhikr of Allah, with the remembrance of Allah, the hearts get tranquil. وَالْقُرْآنُ هُوَ حَيَاةُ الْإِنسَانِ. And the Quran is the real life of man. وَلِذَلِكَ, and that's why Allah Ta'ala made fasting to be in this month of Ramadan where the Quran was descended. As what here Allah Ta'ala said in Surah Al-Dukhan, حاميم والكتاب المبين إنا أنزلناه في ليلة مباركة إنا كنا منذرين فيها يفرق كل أمر حكيم أمرا من عندنا إنا كنا منزلين. So Allah Ta'ala is telling us in this ayat of Surah Al-Dukhan, Hamim, these are the alphabetical letters, the Arabic alphabet letters, which the Quran is compiled from. Hamim, wal kitab al-mubin, by the book, the clear book, which is the Quran. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatin mubarakah. We have indeed descended it in a blessed night. What night is that? This night Allah Ta'ala told us about in Surah Al-Qadr. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. We have sent down this Quran in the night of Al-Qadr. And there in Surah Al-Qadr Allah Ta'ala told us the virtue of Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alf shahr. And the night of Qadr is better than 1,000 months of worship, meaning 1,000 months of worship. So Ramadan contains that night, which is better than worship of 1,000 months. The worship in it, in that night, is better than the worship of 1,000 months. And he told us that on that night, just on that night, not in any other nights, not in the middle of Sha'ban, but on Laylatul Qadr, which is in Ramadan, and there Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Al-Dukhan, فِيهَا يُفْرَقُ كُلُّ أَمْرٍ حَكِيمٍ. In that night, every matter of wisdom is is decreed. Now, the matter of wisdom here in this ayah means the destiny. The destiny of the whole coming year is going to be given on that night. Where is that night? That is not in Sha'ban, as they say. They say in the middle of Sha'ban. No, it's not in the middle of Sha'ban. Because as you hear now, the Quran is telling you that night in which the qadr, the destiny of the coming whole year is given, that is the night in which the Quran was revealed. Surah Al-Qadr tells you the virtue of that night. Surah Al-Baqarah tells you the month in which that night is, which is the month of Ramadan. Because in these three ayat, the ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah, the ayah of Surah Al-Dukhan, the ayah of Surah Al-Qadr, in these three ayats, one common thing was mentioned: the descendants of Quran. In Surah Al-Baqarah, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل في القرآن, the month of Ramadan in which the Quran was descended. In Surah Al-Dukhan, حاميم والكتاب المبين إنا أنزلناه في ليلة مباركة. We have sent this book in a blessed night. In Surah Al-Qadr, إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر. So أنزلناه أنزل أنزلناه. It's all about descending. So definitely that night is in Ramadan, not in Sha'ban. Definitely. The issue of Sha'ban is different issue. The virtue of Sha'ban is different virtue. The virtue of the middle of Sha'ban is true, but it's different virtue. It is only that Allah Ta'ala forgives for everybody except for the one who associates with Allah in worship, and the one who has hatred in his heart towards his brothers. And all what you need to do on that night, which we are going to receive in 3 days time, all what you need to do, or in 2 days time, because today we are 12, so 14th night falling on the 15th, that is the night. What you need to do, all what you need to do is forgive your brothers. That's it. And Allah will forgive you all of your previous sins. And by the way, this is not special for the middle of Sha'ban. Because there is another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said that on every Monday and Thursday, Allah forgives for all of the slaves, except for the one who have hatred against his Muslim brother. But there is nothing on spending the night praying or dhikr or fasting the following day. No, that's not correct. That is a virtue of Ramadan, not Sha'ban. That is Laylatul Qadr. And that's why Rasulullah ﷺ said, for those who want to find Laylatul Qadr, let them to do i'tikaf on the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Let them to do i'tikaf for the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Why? Because i'tikaf means you free yourself only for only for worshipping. You isolate yourself from anything else. Wife, family, work. And of course you have to isolate yourself from talking to people and wasting your time, and you just focus on reciting the Quran, dhikr, prayers, dua, and that's it. Take a side in the masjid, you don't speak except for necessary talks. Only for just the necessary talks. Why? Because you want to find Laylatul Qadr when you are very pure. So Allah Ta'ala bless you on that night. So it cannot be in Sha'ban because the i'tikaf is only in Ramadan. I mean the i'tikaf which the Prophet ﷺ encouraged to. Of course it is allowed to do i'tikaf any time in the year. But that i'tikaf which Rasulullah encouraged the ummah to perform is the i'tikaf in the last 10 nights of Ramadan. In the last 10 nights of Ramadan. Why? Simply because Laylatul Qadr is there. And any night can be in any night of those 10 nights. More possibly in the odd number nights. And much more likely it is on the 27th. But we cannot affirm that it is 27th. And that's why Rasulullah did not say just 27th. He said the whole 10 nights. So these are from the virtues of Ramadan, ya ikhwan. Now, fasting Ramadan, as in the hadith, man sama Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbih. He whoever fasts Ramadan imanan, what does that mean? Believing in it as pillar of Islam. Believing in it as pillar of Islam, as compulsory upon you to fast. Wahtisaban, meaning being patient with fasting even if it is difficult on you, and seeking the reward of that from Allah alone. Not showing off, not pleasing others, not doing it as a habit, as many Muslims today. Fasting turned to be a habit, a custom. Today, fasting to many Muslims is only a custom. And that's not correct. Or fasting Ramadan only for looking for health-wise. And that's why they spread this hadith which is not authentic. Weak hadith. Sumu tasahhu. And some ulama said even it is fabricated. But we fast as a form of worship, to obey Allah. And this fasting, as we said, iman and ihtisaban. Not only that, you have to be on the day of fasting different than you on the other days. Azeez said, لا يكن يوم صومك ويوم فطرك سواء. Don't let the day in which you are not fasting and the day of your fasting be the same, yani be found as the same person. Let people see it. Let people know by your beautiful manners and characters in that day, which is required in all days, but now you even show it more better than before. So it means on the day of fasting, let this fasting be seen that it beautifies your manners and characters much more than it before. And that's why he also said in the other hadith, and when anybody fights against you or fights you or try to cause any problem to you, you just say, inni mri'un sa'im. I'm a person who's fasting. I don't go to that level. So I'm not going to argue, I'm not going to get involved in this. Why? Because I'm fasting. And this means fasting can hold me of arrogance and ignorance and nonsenses and violations. So that's how Siyam controls me, fasting controls me. And from the virtues of fasting is that it also gives you the strength of Iman that makes you stand for the night prayers, which are not obligatory on you. They are not obligatory, but because of the effect of fasting. And that's why in the same hadith, من صام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه ومن قام رمضان إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه. He who fast iman and believing that fasting is obligatory in Ramadan, wahtisaban, seeking the reward of that from Allah, then all of his previous sins will be forgiven. And he whoever stands for the night prayers, which we call it Taraweeh, in the first 20 nights of Ramadan, and then they call it Tahajjud or Qiyam or whatsoever you call them, but it is the night prayer which are not from the obligatory, which is not Isha, which is not Fajr, between them. This Salah, if you stand praying them, believing that it is Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, seeking and being patient in this long standing, and seeking the reward of that from Allah alone, then all of your previous sins would be forgiven. Now one may say, why should I stand for night prayers? We say, for that your previous sins would be forgiven. He says, okay, but that is found by fasting the day. Khalas, I fast the day, all the sins, the previous sins will be forgiven. We say, Ya akhi, look, when Allah Ta'ala promised a certain reward for a certain ibadah, this reward will be given. Now, if the reward is to forgive your sins, previous sins, if it doesn't find any sins, it will be turned to hasanat. Hasanat. And that's why Allah Ta'ala praised those who stand for night prayers, whether in Ramadan or in other than Ramadan. As in Surah Al-Furqan, Allah Ta'ala said, وَالَّذِينَ يَبِيتُونَ لِرَبِّهِمْ سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا. When Allah Ta'ala mentioned the attributes of the believers, He said, and those, the believers are those who stand in the night praying and prostrating. And in the other ayat, in many ayat, Allah Ta'ala said about the believers, كَانُوا قَلِيلًا مِنَ اللَّيْلِ مَا يَهْجَعُونَ. They were only in little times of night that they sleep and rest. And that's why He, Allah Ta'ala, commanded the most beloved man to Him, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, to do so. As in Surah Al-Muzammil, Ya ayyuha al-Muzammil, qum al-layla illa qalila. Oh, you, the one who covered himself, stand on the night prayers all night except for little portion of it. And that's why Rasulullah sallam used to stand for long. As Ibn Mas'ud said that one night, I came and I found Rasulullah sallam praying. So I joined him. I joined him in his night prayers. He was alone praying in his house. Ibn Mas'ud came and joined him. He said, and he began with Surah Al-Baqarah after Fatiha. I said maybe he will go for ruku' after ayah number 100. And that is too long. One rak'ah, 100 ayat. You know, that is almost 5 juz' of the Quran, because each juz' is 20 pages. Let's say it is 2, it's not 5, no, the whole Surah Al-Baqarah is 3 juz', sorry. But 100 ayat of Surah Al-Baqarah. He said he may go for ruku' after 100 ayat. But the Prophet ﷺ continued. He said he might in Surah Al-Baqarah and go for ruku'. And then Rasulullah ﷺ, when he finished Surah Al-Baqarah, he started Surah Al-Imran. Sorry, he started Surah Al-Nisa. He began reciting Surah Al-Nisa. He said he may stop by ayah number 100. But he finished it. Then he began Surah Al-Imran. From Baqarah he went to An-Nisa and then he returned back to Al-Imran. So he began Surah Al-Imran. Ibn Mas'ud said maybe ayah 100 he go for ruku'. But Rasulullah continued all of Al-Imran. So he recited the 3 longest surahs in the Quran in one rak'ah. In one rak'ah. And as Aisha said that one night, he spent the whole night praying, reciting only one ayah, repeating it. إن تعذبهم فإنهم عبادك وإن تغفر لهم فإنك أنت الغفور الرحيم. If you torture them, then they are your slaves. You are the master and they are the slaves. But if you forgive them, then you are the all forgiver, the all merciful. So night prayers is the Jannah of the believer. Is the Jannah of the believer. Is the tranquility of the believer. And from the virtues of Ramadan is the recitation of Quran. The Prophet ﷺ used to recite the Quran every Ramadan when Jibreel comes to him. And Jibreel used to come to him in every night of Ramadan. Every night of Ramadan, Jibreel and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ sit down and they recite Quran every night. And it means that they finish the Quran, the whole Quran in one Ramadan. Every night one juz', one para. But when it was the last year of his, last Ramadan of his, he recited it with Jibreel twice in Ramadan. Some of the Salaf used to recite the Quran even more often. It was said that Imam Shafi'i used to complete the Quran 60 times in Ramadan. 60. It means every day 2 times he finished reciting the Quran. They did not used to sleep. They did not used to work. They did not used to mix with their families. They just freed themselves to the Quran. They did not use even to teach knowledge. They closed all the books in Ramadan and they just focus on the Quran. It's the month of Ramadan. It's the month of the Quran. And from the virtues of Ramadan is that it makes you generous, kind. Contribute a lot of sadaqah. As Ibn Abbas said about the Prophet ﷺ that he used to be kind all the time. But when it is Ramadan, he was even more kind than normal. He was faster than the wind in responding to sadaqat. So this should also beautify our manners. It is also in regard to Salat Taraweeh, from the virtues of Ramadan, which can only be found in Ramadan. He ﷺ said, "Man qama ليلة القدر إيمانا واحتسابا غفر له ما تقدم من ذنبه." He whoever stands for the night of Al-Qadr, then all of his previous sins would be forgiven. And he said, directing the muqtadi, the one who prayed behind the Imam, what to do. He said, "Man qama khalfa imamihi hatta yansarif kutiba lahu qiyamu layla." He whoever stands behind his Imam until the salah is finished, then a reward of praying one whole night would be given to him. Maybe the Imam does only 1 hour prayer, but you are going to be given the whole night prayer, the reward of whole night prayer. The condition of that is you stand behind the Imam. Regardless the Imam prays 11 or 23 or more or less. You want the reward of one full night, you stand behind the Imam until the Salah is finished. Until the Salah is finished. And from the virtues of this month is that, as in the hadith, عمرة في رمضان تعدل حجة معي. One umrah in Ramadan equals in reward one hajj with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now please just focus and look to this and pay attention. Why did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say equals hajj with me? What is the difference between hajj with him and hajj with others or after him? What is the difference? Is there any difference? Is there any difference to perform hajj with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and hajj after after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? There is no difference, but the only difference is that the hajj with Rasulullah is guaranteed to be perfect. Why? Because you will see Rasulullah and do like him, and he is the one who performed the best hajj. It means you'd be given the full reward of hajj. So one umrah in Ramadan equals the reward of hajj with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What a great virtue of Ramadan is that. That cannot happen in the other months. It's not because of fasting. Even if you go at night of Ramadan and do the umrah, you still have this reward. As if you go in any time of the year fasting and perform the umrah while you are fasting, you will never get this reward of hajj with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because the reward of umrah that equals hajj with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is only given to the umrah in Ramadan. Umrah in Ramadan. That's a great reward, and great virtue. Also, there is a virtue in Ramadan, and that is when you feed, when you give iftar to those who are fasting. As the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man fattara sa'iman falahu mithlu ajrih." He whoever gives iftar to one who is fasting, then he will be given similar reward to him. Yani, example, you are fasting today Ramadan, one day of Ramadan you are fasting. It is Maghrib and you have, let's say, 6 pieces of dates. And there is somebody next to you. You take 3 and you give him 3. You are given reward of 2 days fasting. 2 days fasting. And from the beautiful thing that I saw my eyes, and I like to always say it so that people are encouraged. One day in Ramadan, by Maghrib, I was doing the Tawaf around the Kaaba. And I saw an old man that I know from my old district. He is not alim, but he is, mashallah, a man of wisdom. He was earning a lot of rewards. A lot of rewards in that day. In that day in which I saw him, he might have collected reward of fasting maybe hundreds, if not thousands of days. Why? And that is all with only if I can't tell you, then you can't. If I tell you, maybe you don't believe. It's only with 5 riyals. Let's say down 1 pound. He bought a jug, big one, and he fills it from the Zamzam in the Haram. And he takes the plastic cups of the Haram and he stands by the Tawaf, waiting for the Adhan. You know, the people there around the Kaaba, they cannot go to the Zamzam, containers and come back to the Tawaf, it will, make. So he's standing there. Once the Adhan calls, he gives people, and people drink. That is their iftar. See how much reward they collected. It's easy if you want to. And in Saudi, mashallah, now if you go to Saudi in Ramadan and you drive by the iftar time, yani just about Maghrib, you will see in every traffic light a man with his children carrying bags, has dates, juice and cup of water, and giving to the people. Once the red light goes on, they come and give people, because everybody is competing now to get the reward. Look, yani, easy, but see how this is only Ramadan. This is only Ramadan. Look to the virtue of Ramadan. And from the virtues of Ramadan is that it is the month which, if you fast 6 optional days because of it, you would be given the reward of fasting the whole year. As the Prophet ﷺ said, "Man sama Ramadana wa atba'ahu bi sittin min Shawwal kana ka siyam ad-dahr." He who ever fasts Ramadan, look at this, he related it to Ramadan. This is from the virtues of Ramadan. Man sama Ramadan, he who ever fasts Ramadan and followed it by 6 days of Shawwal. Any days of Shawwal, but 6 days must be inside Shawwal, the month of Shawwal. So if you fast Ramadan and then followed by 6 days of Shawwal, then this will guarantee you reward of fasting 1 complete year. 1 complete year. That is from the virtues of Ramadan. If we want to talk about the virtues of Ramadan from now until Ramadan comes, we may not finish. But as they say, enough of what been mentioned, but above that we will mention something else about Ramadan, to show the virtue of Ramadan. For example, in the hadith reported by Tirmidhi and Ibn Majah and authenticated by Albani, the Prophet ﷺ said, إذا كان أول ليلة من شهر رمضان, when it is the first night of the month of Ramadan. When is the first night of the month of Ramadan? The first night. Okay, why I ask this question to show the difference between how we count the days and nights and how you guys count the days of night. You guys, today we are evening now. This night is night of which day? No, you call it Friday night, isn't it? Isn't it? No, we call it Saturday night. Saturday night. So the night of Ramadan is in fact, it is the night falling onto the first day of Ramadan. And that's why we begin Taraweeh when? Once they declare Ramadan. Did we fast that day? No. When do we stop praying Taraweeh? Once they declare the moon of Shawwal. Did we fast that day? Yes. Because last day of Ramadan. Last day of Ramadan. Do you pray in Taraweeh? No. Why? Because in fact you did. Because the day, to us, the day follows the night. The Westerns, they count it as the night follows the day. And that's why we begin the activities of Ramadan before we fast. Which one we do first from the activities of Ramadan? Fasting or praying Taraweeh? Praying Taraweeh. And praying Taraweeh is at night. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying, from that night, meaning from the Maghrib, from the sunset of the last day of Sha'ban, what will happen? صُفِّدَتِ الشَّيَاطِينُ وَمَرَدَتِ الْجِنِّ. The shayateen and the aggressive jinn would be chained. Why would they be chained? Are they chained in the whole world? From everybody? Are all the shayateen chained? La. First, they are chained from accusing the Muslims or encouraging them to do sins. Now, so it becomes easy for you, and every one of us feels it. When it is Ramadan, you don't want to do anything wrong of what you used to do before. Yani, if you used to listen to music and you know that music is haram, but because your iman is weak, you used to use it. When Ramadan comes, you don't want, you just want to put the Quran. You just want to do dhikr. You just want to recite the Quran. Isn't it? That's every one of us. That is because of that effect. That is because of that promise that the shayateen are chained. The major ones, the big ones. Small ones are left. That's why you see sometimes two Muslims fighting. Because the baby shaitan come and, make the fitna between them. And they are adults, but they cannot avoid this baby shaitan. See how? Baby shaitan deceived them and caused fitna between them. That's not correct. Where is your iman to stand? That's why Rasulullah said, when anybody try to fight with you or have problem or argue, you say, I'm fasting. And the marada of jinn. Here the marada of jinn here are not necessarily to be the kuffar jinn, because the kuffar jinn are shayateen. And the marada of jinn and the shayateen could be even from amongst the Muslim jinn, because the jinn are like us. Some people think that, Muslim jinn do not harm people. La, that's not correct. It is like human. We have troublemakers, even amongst Muslims. And there are troublemakers even amongst Muslims of jinn. So on that night, the most aggressive ones are chained. So who is left unchained? The simple ones. If you as a believer, you cannot even defeat the simple ones, then where is your iman, ya akhi? Where is your iman? Huh? These are weak ones. Weak shayateen, weak jinn. You have to show that you are a man now. I mean, a man or woman, and show that you are strong. Not even with this, this is cowardness, and religious cowardness. If you are uncontrollable of yourself, even against these small ones, a small shaitan comes and asks you to watch the TV or movie or heavy or whatsoever be, you immediately go while you are fasting. Where is your strength? Where is your iman? He's not one of the big ones. So what are you going to do if the big ones are unchained? Huh? And then Isa said, وَغُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النَّارِ. Only in the month of Ramadan. Shayateen are chained only. See, in Hajj, the shayateen are not chained. People think that the shayateen in there in Mina and the three Jamarat. There is no any shayateen there. Shayateen in Mina, they are everywhere there, walking with the people and causing fitna and causing the Muslims to commit bid'ah and but in Ramadan they are chained. Only in Ramadan. Only in Ramadan, the gates. How many gates for Jahannam? Huh? 7. All of the 7 gates are closed. All. it means you are off record. Just and try to do something. نعم. And فلم يفتح منها باب. Not even a single gate will be open. And the gates of the Jannah, which are 8, all are widely opened. Not even a single gate to be closed. And then an angel will call with a voice that we don't hear it. Ya baghi al-khayri aqbal. You the one who intend to do the good, come forth for the good. Come do it. Come recite the Quran. Come stay in the masjid as much as you can, as long as you can. Come to donate, to contribute. Come to feed the poor and needy. Come to make dua. Come to recite the Quran. Come to, night prayers and etc. وَيَا بَاغِيَ الشَّرِّ أَقْصِرْ. And you, the one who intend the evil, stay away. Don't come to our Ramadan. Don't come to our Ramadan. Stay outside Ramadan. We don't want you in Ramadan. If you still even in Ramadan intend the evil, we don't want you in Ramadan. Stay away. Stay away from us. And then he said, وَلِلَّهِ عُتَقَاءُ مِنَ النَّارِ. And Allah Ta'ala frees some of his slaves from the fire every night. Every night. He frees some people who deserve the fire from the fire. That is only in Ramadan. Are we going to lose these things? These beautiful opportunities that Allah is giving us? In the hadith in Sahih Bukhari on the authority of Sa'd ibn Sahl ibn Sa'd al-Sa'idi radiyallahu anhuma, from the Prophet ﷺ, that he ﷺ said, فِي الْجَنَّةِ ثَمَانِيَةُ أَبْوَابٍ. Jannah has 8 gates. فِيهَا بَابٌ يُسَمَّى الرَّيَّانِ. One of these gates is called Al-Rayyan. What is Al-Rayyan? What is the meaning of Al-Rayyan? Al-Rayyan is an adjective, opposite of thirsty. You say, I'm thirsty, and then you drink, you say, I'm Rayyan. Thirsty means Atshan. Thirsty means Atshan. You say, I'm Atshan. They give you water, you drink, you say, I am Rayyan. Meaning, I don't feel interest now. I don't have interest. This gate is only, as he said, لا يدخله إلا الصائمون. This gate is only for those who fast. And of course, number 1, those who used to fast Ramadan, which is obligatory. Why? Why it is said that this gate is only for people who fast? Because there are Muslims who do not fast. And there are Muslims who fast, but their fasting is not count for them. There are Muslims who fast, but their fasting, they fast but they never leave any evil. They fast, but they never leave any of their evil that they used to do before Ramadan. So what fasting is that? As it is said, كم من صائم ليس له من صيامه إلا الجوع والظمأ وكم من قائم ليس له من قيامه إلا التعب والنصب. How many people who fast but they don't earn from their fasting except hunger and thirst. That's it. That's the only thing that they earn, meaning no reward for them. And how many people stand for prayers but they don't earn from that prayer except tiredness. Now, so, and from the virtues of Ramadan is as in the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, as reported in Bukhari and Muslim or agreed upon, he said, As-salawatul khams, the 5 prayers. Wal Jumu'ah ila al-Jumu'ah, and Friday to the other Friday, to the next Friday. Wa Ramadanu ila Ramadan, and Ramadan till the next Ramadan. Mukaffiratun lima baynahunna, they forgive all the sins between them. Majtunibat al-kabair, as long as you avoid the major sins. These are from the virtues. There are, as we said, a lot of virtues of Ramadan and fasting, but in what we said is sufficiency to encourage the Muslims to get ready for Ramadan. From now, prepare yourself. If you want to buy anything for the family in Ramadan, then do it now. And don't turn Ramadan as a month of food, as the usual habit of Muslims. Ramadan is not a month of fasting. Ramadan is the month of eating for the Muslims today. Yes, they fast all the day, but at Maghrib they eat more than the 3 meals in the normal days. That's not correct. And the woman, wife or daughter or mother, Meskina, she spends all the day of Ramadan in the kitchen, cooking too many different food. The husband says, no, I want samosa, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want the dessert, I want... This is not a day of Ramadan if you don't bring me these things. La akhi. It wasn't day of Ramadan. Your day wasn't day of Ramadan. Rasulullah ﷺ used to open his fasting by dates and go for salah. Come back, if there is any little food he eats. That's it. Today, people open their fast, yes, one day for the sunnah, one date for the sunnah. And then they leave the dates. Then samosa, what do you call that, soup, rice, meat, chicken, they come to Maghrib crawling. And then they start burping. That's not correct, akhi. You damaged our Ramadan now. You damaged it. And all day you were fasting, so the stomach bring bad smell, which Allah Ta'ala mentioned that before him it is better than the smell of misk. But before, yani for us, it is bad smell. But we cannot blame you because you have nothing to do in regard. This is because of the hunger, empty stomach. But after Maghrib, why this bad smell comes? Because you eat onions, garlic, and you come to the masjid? That's bad, akhi. It's bad. We should be kind with Ramadan as Ramadan is kind with us. And the sahur, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ni'ma sahur al-mu'min al-tamr." The best sahur for believer is the dates. They make big problem. I know people who make big problem if there is no cookings on the sahur, on the sahri. They must have chicken and rice, they must have lamb or beef or whatsoever, they must have that. And then they eat again, Fajr, crawling. And Maghrib and Fajr, all the time. They come. Akhi, Salah, Iqamah. Okay, the Imam didn't come. Akhi, call the Iqamah. This Imam, why they are in hurry? Because they are too full now. They want to go sleep. They want to go have some rest. Because they are too full. Because the stomach was empty and out of sudden, all out of sudden. Yeah, now the stomach gets confused. And the brain, and if you see they come sweating, even if they are in the winter. Why? Because the whole energy now of the body is given to the stomach. And the stomach like the washing machine now, trying, but cannot, cannot. That's not correct. That's not correct, ya ikhwan. We have to get the advantage of Ramadan, even this way, health-wise. Otherwise, why Rasulullah mentioned that the dates are the best of your... Wallahi, you don't believe. me and all of my family, we don't take in sahur. Even my youngest child, who's now 11, and he is fasting since he was 5. We only take dates and water. That's it. In the sahur time. Dates and water, and that's it. Iftar, we take dates and water and go to the masjid. Pray Maghrib, come back. Every day one dish. We don't have 2-3 dishes a day. So that my wife also have the right to sit and read Quran and, you know. And in fact, we all go to the Masjid al-Nabawi from before Asr. And stay there until after Taraweeh. In Masjid al-Nabawi, only you can take only dates, some bread, and laban, yogurt. That's it. That's all what they can give you there. And some serve tea and coffee, Arab coffee. That's it. Wallah, we never felt hungry. We never feel hungry. But this is how your stomach is like your child. If you give your child candy after candy after candy, he will never say stop. The child will like it. Sweets, they take. Your stomach like this, if you give, but at the end, you will go and have a long queue in the dental clinic because your child teeth damaged. Now the same thing, you go to this clinic for your stomach, which is damaged. So we have to, the virtue of Ramadan is not only spiritual, but even physical. We have to have control over our body, as we have to have control over our heart. May Allah Ta'ala make us from those who reach Ramadan and make us from those who fast in Ramadan imanan wa ihtisaban and stand for the night prayers imanan wa ihtisaban, and make us from those who meet Laylatul Qadr imanan wa ihtisaban, and may Allah Ta'ala make us in Ramadan better than us before it, and make us after Ramadan better than us in it. Wallahu a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam wa barak على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وإياكم. If there is any question related to the topic, not out of the text. And of course, don't ask me about what better food you take.
Shaykh, as you said, a person prays with the Imam and goes home with the Imam. He gets all night prayer.
Reward of all night prayer.
So what is the difference in, if you don't go with the Imam and stay?
Stay where?
Yeah, stay awake and in the masjid, you read nawafils or whatever.
No, I did not mean you go. I did not mean you go. And even the hadith didn't say you go, you leave the masjid. No, it says who stands behind the Imam in the Taraweeh until the Imam finishes the Taraweeh. Because some people think that if the Imam makes 23 rak'at, they will do with him only 8, and then they go and do 3 their own. That is not correct.
No, I'm just saying that if you got all night's reward, so that means
that is extra reward.
So if you read more nawafils and
of course, extra reward. That is good. That is good. That is extra reward. Or you spend the night reciting Quran, or dhikr, or like that. No. No,
Shaykh, you mentioned Imam Shafi'i used to read 2 Qur'ans in one night.
Yes.
How do we understand this with the advice of Prophet ﷺ, that we only read 1 Qur'an every 3 days?
That's correct. Good. In the hadith of Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, he advised Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As not to read the Quran in lesser than 3 days. And he said, whoever reads the Quran in lesser than 3 days, he cannot understand it. That's true. The Salaf used to live all the time with the Quran. And other than Ramadan, Imam Shafi'i used to recite the Quran like normal. But in Ramadan, that hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar as in general. Abdullah ibn Umar used to do that in the whole year. So that's why Rasulullah said to him, no, don't do that. But in the month of Ramadan, it is different. It is different. So they used to, when Ramadan comes, they used to just give all the time to the Quran. All the time. And of course, if you are going to give all the 24 hours, or let's say 18 hours to the Quran, of course you're going to finish it. Of course, you're going to finish it. Wallahu a'lam. Ayyakum. طيب. Okay. So.
Ramadan hasn't approached yet. Inshallah, from now to then, how can we best prepare?
Good. Sha'ban was also mentioned as a preparation for Ramadan. As a preparation for Ramadan. The Prophet ﷺ emphasized the importance of fasting the month of Sha'ban. And he said Sha'ban, the month which is between Rajab and Ramadan. People do not give attention, do not pay attention. People are heedless of it. And then he also in the other hadith said that Sha'ban is the month in which the records of the deeds of people is raised to Allah. And he said that he likes to fast Sha'ban because of that. He used to fast Sha'ban, as Aisha said, sometimes all of it except for little days. And he encouraged on fasting Sha'ban, but he said, he whoever did not fast from the beginning of Sha'ban, when it is the middle of Sha'ban and he intends to begin the fasting, then he should not fast. Today we are 12. You can start fasting from tomorrow, no problem. And the Salaf used to, some of them used to close their shops from Sha'ban. Once Sha'ban comes, they close the shops and remain in the mosque reciting the Quran, preparing for Ramadan. Preparing for Ramadan. Because when you recite the Quran more often in Sha'ban, you get familiar to it. So when the Imam recites it, you remember and you get motivated, encouraged. You will feel that you are exciting because this ayat I read recently, just close. These are the preparation of Sha'ban, preparation for Ramadan. Allahu A'lam. Now,
I read somewhere that if you read 4 pages of the Quran in Ramadan, after every Salah, you finish the Quran in the month.
yes, because if you multiply 4 by 5, that is 20 pages. You can, if Ramadan is 30 days. And even that you still need 1 or 2 days more, because every para is 21 pages. Every juzu is 21 pages. But this is a good idea. But you have sometimes, which is, you are free in them. Recite more. Don't just stick to this number. 4 pages after. But this is the minimum. It's a good plan that you can finish the Quran in Ramadan. 4 pages after or before, after every prayer. Then yes, you can, inshallah. But as I advised you, in the night, sometimes you sit between Maghrib and Isha, you do what? Recite. Recite. Before you go to bed, recite. Like that. Wallahu a'lam. Naam.
What about reading the translation or the tafsir?
La, Ramadan is not for tafsir or translation. Ramadan for the Quran itself. For the Quran itself. And if you don't know how to recite in Arabic, now alhamdulillah, the electronics made it, Allah Ta'ala made it very easy for us by these electronic devices. All what you need to do is you download on your phone or get this device of Quran. There are some websites which has Quran. Put your headphones, hold the Quran, get one ayah from the reciter, stop it, review it, stop it, and then read with them. So by that you even learn how to read. Now, so don't tell me that, oh, I don't understand it, I don't know Arabic. It is easy. وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. We have made it easy for, we have made the Quran easy for remembrance. So who are those who want to do the remembrance? والله أعلم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه. جزاكم الله خير for coming and being patient. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.